Boyka, Undisputed. 4 continues the story of Yuri Boyka, an unbeatable fighter striving to prove he is the best. In this film, Boyka, played by Scott Adkins, faces new challenges both in and out of the ring. Beginning after a severe injury in the previous film, Boyka returns to the ring, attempting to revive his career in legitimate fights. He participates in a tournament in Eastern Europe, defeating one opponent after another and gaining more recognition. Boyka dreams of making it to larger international arenas and becoming a renowned fighter on a global level. His fighting technique becomes even more sophisticated as he learns new moves and tactics that help him dominate the ring. Despite his successes, Boyka does not forget his past and the mistakes that led him to his current position. Each step in the ring is a step toward personal redemption, and he uses his skills to overcome inner conflicts. Fateful fight. However, his path to success is complicated when, during one of the fights, he accidentally kills his opponent, Victor. This tragic event deeply shocks him and forces him to rethink his values and priorities. Boyka begins to doubt his actions and contemplate the consequences of his deeds. He realizes that his strength can be destructive and starts seeking ways to atone for his guilt. He spends sleepless nights pondering his life and how he can correct his mistakes. He begins to see nightmares in which Victor accuses him of his death, further intensifying his desire to make amends. Boyka starts to feel the burden of guilt and seeks a path to redemption through his actions. Journey to Russia. Upon learning that Victor left behind a widow, Alma, who is now in a difficult situation and forced to work for a ruthless crime boss, Zourab, Boyka decides to atone for his guilt. He travels to Russia to help the widow of his opponent. Boyka decides to participate in illegal fights organized by Zourab to win Alma's freedom. His journey to Russia turns out to be more complicated than he expected. Faces cultural and language barriers, but his determination to help Alma gives him the strength to overcome all obstacles. Along the way, he meets many people who remind him of his own mistakes and help him rethink his life. Boyka finds himself in dangerous areas where criminal elements rule, relying on his instincts to survive. Illegal fights. In Russia, Boyka faces new challenges. He is forced to participate in brutal and dangerous no-rules fights to earn money and free Alma. Boyka realizes that these fights are his only chance for redemption and to help Victor's widow. He fights numerous strong and ruthless opponents, facing physical and moral trials. Each fight becomes increasingly difficult, but he does not give up. He uses his skills and abilities to stand firm in each match. His goal is clear: to win every fight and free Alma. In the process of these fights, he encounters various fighters, each with their own story and motives. This helps Boyka better understand himself and his actions. He sees how people struggle to survive, causing him to reflect on the meaning of life and his role in this world. Meeting Alma. Gradually, Boyka learns more about Alma's life and how Victor's death has affected her. An understanding develops between them, and Alma begins to see Boyka not just as a fighter, but as a man striving to correct his mistakes. Boyka realizes that his mission is not just to win fights, but to give Alma hope for a better future. Alma tells him about her life and how she ended up in such a difficult situation. Boyka feels responsible for her fate and decides to do everything possible to help her. They spend a lot of time together discussing the past and possible future. Alma shares her dreams and hopes with Boyka, and he promises to do everything to make them come true. Trust and even friendship begin to form between them, motivating Boyka even more to fight for her freedom. Conflict with Zurab. The film's climax comes with the final fight between Boyka and Zourab. This fight is not just another match, but a decisive moment that determines Alma's future and Boyka's own. Zourab is a cruel and cunning opponent willing to do anything to maintain control over Alma and his illegal operations. Zourab possesses not only physical strength, but also cunning, making him a dangerous adversary. Boyka understands that this fight will be the toughest challenge of his life. Before the fight, Zourab tries to intimidate Boyka using various methods, but Boyka does not fall for the provocations. Zourab threatens Alma, trying to break Boyka psychologically, but this only strengthens his resolve to win. Epilogue. The film ends with a scene where Boyka trains in a secluded place, reflecting on his path and future. He realizes that his true mission is not only to win fights but to help others, correct mistakes, and strive for justice. Boyka becomes a symbol of redemption and strength of spirit, continuing his journey to greatness not only as a fighter but also as a person. He understands that his life now has a new meaning and that he must use his strength and skills for the benefit of others. He meets new people who help him understand that true strength is not only physical power but also kindness, compassion, and a desire for justice. Boyka decides to dedicate his life to helping others and correcting his mistakes, becoming a role model.